to my presentation on how, basically on my Monotype team for this season, it is doubles, 6v6, Natdex, part of Natdex, cap, doubles draft league, and also it's Monotype. So it's quite a unique format that I don't think anyone else has ever done before, and it's sort of unexplored, uncharted territory as compared to VGC. As a result, I don't know if we really know as much what's good and what's bad about it, but this is basically what I did. And I figured you guys liked the first video that I created on my VGC team, so I figured I might as well go over this one because it seems to be working for me. I picked ground. Ground is a fundamentally good type. It's got some key resistances to, well, poison it's not as much of a key resistance, but the electric immunity is really nice on all of your Pokemon. And the rock resistance is useful. But it's mostly because of the fact that there are some really, really good ground types out there. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are ground types. And in this dex that was very limited, I found that ground types had a lot of really good options, and it sort of, other than that, just went with my guts. Not everyone can get all the Pokemon they want, and with this typing, I have plenty of chances to get good Pokemon. Both Ursalunas, both bears, the funny bears, Garchomp. In case you guys forgot, Garchomp is good. You know, with it falling to lower tiers and everything, but it's good. Excadrill, Sand Rusher, that's really fast, hits like a truck. Great Tusk, which was an option. Saharaja, which is a creative Pokemon I'll go over later. Colossoil I'll also go over later. Mamoswine, which is really good in doubles again, and this is a Trick Room Sweeper, Rhyperior. I can choose any of these to build a team around, and since I have extra points for this season, Basher blessed us with 5 extra points per team, I'll be able to probably choose a fair few of these. But the first things first is that I need to choose a Terra, since each team gets one Terra Captain. It functions similarly to Scarlet and Violet, in the fact that you have to Terastallize immediately when you hit the field, but you get all of the innate traits of the Pokemon you draft. So what you want to do is contribute to a team's effectiveness by supporting it, or having lots of good offenses with a good offensive typing, or good defense, something that's being immune to something that the team would otherwise not be able to deal with, or ideally all three. You have to have natural synergy with Pokemon, with the other Pokemon that you expect to be on your team or already are on your team, and usually you want to try to deny someone else of having a Pokemon that they really want. And those 3 traits can converge on a lot of different Pokemon. Azu was my first choice for Terra Captain in a way, but it was the thing that I thought of immediately, because it's got Thick Fat, it's got Sap Sipper, it's got Stab, Play Rough of basically 150 attack, Priority, Encore, Icy Wind, yeah. Sableye it's got Prankster Gravity, which really helps with my ground types. Not only that, it's got such a ridiculously deep move pool that if I were to go over everything in it, it would take me way too long. 9, it's because screens are really good with like really bulky attackers that you tend to see on ground, and Icy Wind's really good, and Encore is really good. And Both of Alolan Ninetales' stab moves are really good paired with ground type moves. Ice Ground is really good coverage, Fairy Ground is really good coverage. Lastly, Jellicent has Water Absorb and Water Spout as well, so I also considered that, since it does get Trick Room and Wisp and String Step and all that stuff. But I just went with Sableye. The three most recent picks for ground have been pranksters. There's been Klefki, Meowstic, and now Sableye in this league. Both Sableye and Klefki turned out... No, both Klefki and Meowstic turned out to be really effective for ground because of the fact that you get to just pull other Pokemon down to the ground and watch them eat a Headlong Rush or an Earthquake to the face. Sableye, again, has an insane supporting move pool. It's got Fake Out, Quash, Thunder Wave, Wisp, Snarl, I don't know, Fake Out. I already said Fake Out. But anyway, Sableye is just a goofy little trickster who's going to do a lot of annoying things to my opponents. So, Cap are Create a Pokemon. They're in the Create a Pokemon project from Smogon's Primary Showdown server, and we're going to be using a couple of them. It was a bit of a risky move to pick Colossoil in round 2 because of the fact that Fire, Rock, and Fighting could have picked Saharaja to be their Terra Captain, which I didn't want to happen. But I felt a bit more confident since T-Cow's fighting team got Nocturna in round 1, but they also got Nocturna, so I'm not looking forward to possibly facing it after week 4. Colossoil is what happens if you make Ursaluna really fast and give it all of Rillaboom's supporting tools. Saharaja is... It's really, really good, particularly on ground, because it's got Water Absorb, which I wanted Jellicent for until I figured out that this Camel gets it. And it also gets Diamond Storm and Sand Spit. Sand Spit lets me set up sand for my Pokemon later on that can abuse sand. Diamond Storm is really valuable because of the fact that it is such a broken move in doubles, and it's good to have Edgequake. I took a risk and it paid off because I got Colossoil. First thing I got was, there was quite the steal in the bottom of the tier list, literally. This is quite the steal. Basher, and I think Basher doesn't think that this Mon is worth more than 5 points, and this number disproves him, and this Mon's got a lot of other numbers too. In particular, I know I gotta defend myself here, and I know that maybe you guys are... Yeah, this might be a rant. So, Mega Steelix is a Steel Ground type, which is really useful to have, but it's also a bulky Steel Ground type, unlike the Alolan Doug trio, which is just... They can't use its Steel type defensively. And most of these 6'10", it's effectively way more than that, because of the fact that Mega Steelix actually likes having really low speed. It's as slow as a Moongus, which is base 30, and it's got effectively no points wasted in special attacks. So you've basically just got I think it's 530 points just dedicated to your bulk and your attack. And that's not to mention that you can Mega Evolve this Pokemon, or you can choose not to. And regular Steelix has options too, like Sheer Force, Life Orb, or Leftovers, or whatever. But this, base 125 attack off of base 30 speed and base 150 power Gyro Ball into a lot of Pokemon, and most of the Pokemon that eat Gyro Ball up lose to just straight up Earthquake. This Mon's going to be coming to the game a lot, and it's undervalued, so I just figured I had to defend myself. Moving on. Yeah, we can blame Basher for this, can't we? I get Gliscor, I get Smokemoto at this point in draft because of the fact that Gliscor is the Gliscor line are the only Tailwind setters that Ground has, so it's kind of essential if in doubles to have Tailwind. Smokemoto, I didn't really feel comfortable about because all my Pokemon so far are physical attackers, and yeah, I figure it's possible that I could get something better, but at this point I'm not sure. It turns out that strong Pokemon are strong. It might seem self-evident, but I just got the fast one, Garchomp. She's the fastest ground type on the tier list. You can blame Basher for the fact that he didn't put Zygarde 50 on there, even though he probably should have. I don't know. And Garchomp also hits like it hits like a drunk uncle driving a freight train. And I need to fill out some essential roles on my team. Garchomp is good because it covers for my grass and water weaknesses fairly well. But at this point I need some of these pieces filled out. And right now I also need a resist, something that can sort of deal with ice. Although I don't think Whiscash is going to deal well with Freeze Dry. Whiscash is the Pokemon I got next because the fact that it is the only water ground on the board. Thank you, Basher. We can blame... I wouldn't blame Basher for this, but yeah, it kind of stings. So yeah, Whiscash added to the team. I wanted to take it before Water would realize that they don't have any electric immunities, really. Do they? Lantern, I guess, but... Whiscash is better than Urshifu Rapid Strike. And I guess probably Single Strike too, because of the fact that Whiscash cannot be affected by Intimidate. Whiscash has the ability Oblivious, while it also has the ability to... Basically, Urshifu's going to get intimidated. Whiscash has no such weakness. Whiscash has versatility in its move slots, with moves like Spark, Future Sight, Icy Wind, Bloodshot, which it totally needs. Urshifu wishes it had that sort of coverage. I insist. Why ignore Protect when you can simply ignore everything by being oblivious? So Nagi ended up taking the Runerigus off the board, which is problematic for me, so I had to immediately go for Claydol. Otherwise Miklas might have gotten it. Claydol's hard to OHKO, as we saw in Season 7 with Mansib, and is... Where's my Claydol? Dude, where's my Claydol? Huh. Mine's playing tricks on me. Okay, anyway... Darth promised me, when he took my Nidoking, that I could have Nidoqueen. Because of the fact that it's like my only special attacker at this point, I'm desperate to have it, but I know she was safe. I knew she was mine. She will always be mine. Sorrow. So basically, Nidoqueen clicks strong moves with Life Orb, Sheer Force, Focus Blast into a lot of Focus Blast, Thunder, Blizzard, Fire Blast, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, like all the coverage moves. Ice Beam, and Sorrow was in love with her at the NBA until a complicated and weird love triangle took over between them that I'm not allowed to specify the details of. It also involves Haunch. Also, Graveler? Graveler! I got that Golo 7 on my team, and now we're packing heat. We shall explode. But shan't we? Because it's time to do some transactions during the grace period that is afforded to Monotype, which we usually don't get anywhere else because our matches are up, and we just want to have a fundamentally good team that doesn't require scummy transactions at the end of the season. So we're trying something new. 4 weeks into the season, we are allowed to possibly create a trade during the course of one day, and I predict that it's going to be hectic, but I think that I've got all the Pokemon that I need on my team after these transactions. Basher, since he wanted Smokomoto, decided to convince Snidequill to drop Ursulina Bloodmoon so that I could have a special attacker and he could have Smoko, which is kind of a good trade. He wanted the Bone Brothers, the two very, very silly little guys who click Bone Rush as well as fire moves. Although he's kind of just clicking fire moves recently. So I drop Gliscor, and I drop Smoko, I drop Graveler, and I pick up Freddy Fazbear, Baby Gliscor, and Onyx. I'm not sure how to make an appropriate pun about this. Anyway, I've got a special attacker now, and this is a special attacker. And he does lots of damage with special Blood Moon that is special. And also Gligar is a little bit bulkier than Gliscor. I did the Calx and it can live hits from Genesect. I used that week 1. Onyx can also explode, I guess, but it's not funny. It has to be funny. and so don't be afraid to use transactions if you think that your team can be improved through any sort of trades. Even in weird formats when you don't know what's going on, just like everyone else doesn't know what's going on. I do think that Snidequill didn't make a mistake, though, because of the fact that Drampa is just... Snidequill has Drampa and Toxtricity. She's not lacking on special attackers. So, thank you. I didn't like this team because the speed tiers are just so awful. In a conventional sense, at least. I've got one Tailwind setter, which is a Gligar. I've got one Trick Room setter, which is a Claydol. And I've also just got a Sableye, and I guess Icy Wind Whiscash. I've got very few ways to influence the speed of the game. Look at my stats. But another thing I noticed about my stats is that I have disgustingly high base bulk. And I can really take advantage of Trick Room and Tailwind. I have just the right speed tiers for that. As long as I can manipulate the way that the game is played in such a way that I can leverage my bulk, I feel like I can really take off with this team, and I've already done pretty well with it. We can blame Basher for all these glaring issues in my speed tiers, and for any issues that anyone else has on this team, but frankly, that's not... Something about that's not right. Basher is a beautiful human being, and we should thank him for just letting us be in this league. I'm thankful that everyone is so kind to each other somehow. Huh. So, Monotype, I play it for the lore, because I'm writing a lot of lore and I'm really enjoying it. And I took this draft maybe a bit too seriously and like spent too much effort on it, I guess. But this is going to be cool, it's going to be engaging. I'm going to bring good sets. I'm gonna bring fire sets, or heat, I suppose. Don't let me into the kitchen, please. I can do commentary or cover some games, my own or someone else's, but I'm not sure about it. I'm just gonna sign off for now, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.